That evening, Mason arrived at Vicarstown and rolled into a siding next to the diesel work sheds. Paxton, Sydney, Daisy, Spankin, and Dart were all inside. "Hello, Mason," said Dart. "Did you enjoy your first day on Sodor?" I don't really know," said Mason. "I didn't do a whole lot. Those are some nice coaches you have there," said Spankin. "They're about the same shade of blue as I am, and I sure would look good pulling them, but, they're your coaches, so yeah." The engine soon fell asleep. But while they were asleep, Mason backed up to the end of the siding he was in, and his driver got out and started doing something. Splinter and Stafford were watching the engines from nearby. "There's something I don't like about that new engine," said Splinter. The next morning, Mason woke up and quickly set off to work. Mason finished all his morning trains pretty early, so he decided to look for something else to do. He found a gumball car and he brought it to the backcountry valley. He then placed it in between the two hills and rolled away quickly. Barry was coming down the line with a goods train. He raced over the first hill and came down the other side and smashed into the gumball car, and the trucks piled up heavily. "He's full of surprises, just like he'll always be. He brings some razzle-dazzle to the yard. He's full of surprises, as you can plainly see. He don't find being surprising all that hard. Some would probably say he's only up to his old tricks, but he'd say he's a problem solver looking for a nice quick fix. He's full of surprises, just like he'll always be. He brings some razzle-dazzle to the rails. He's full of surprises, as you can plainly see. He's trusting his surprises to prevail. He hopes this time being surprising doesn't fail. They used to call him devious, because he had a bit of previous. But please, you must believe us. He's not that bad. Well, maybe just a tad." "Ryan, are you alright? Are you hurt?" Only when I breathe, or talk, or think. Ow, ow, see? I better go and get some help." That evening, when Mason returned to the Vicarstown sheds, Paxton and Dart were not there. "Hey guys, did you hear about all the accidents that happened today?" asked Mason. "Oh yeah," said Sydney. "It's pretty crazy." "Well, I guess all we can do is wait for the engines to be repaired," said Daisy. "Until then, we'll all have to work extra hard." "Right you are, Daisy," said Mason, and soon the engines fell asleep. Like last night, Mason rolled into his siding. "I'm telling you, Stafford, it's Mason who's behind all these accidents. He's here for a reason, and that reason is to cause trouble." "Oh, come on now, Splinter," said Stafford. "For all we know, it could have been someone else troublesome, like Diesel, Airy, Bird, or, I don't know, Sydney? What are the chances of Sydney doing something violent?" said Splinter. Haven't you noticed that all of these accidents have been happening at Vicarstown? Mason was sent to work at Vicarstown. He's gotta be behind all these accidents. We'll just try to do some investigating tomorrow when we get the chance. And we'll see if we can catch this vicious Vicarstown villain. And Splinter and Stafford rolled away. The next day, Stafford was pulling some freight cars. But as he went over the tall viaduct, the trucks broke away. The trucks ran all the way to the diesel works. They ran down Mason's siding and crashed at the end of the track. Stafford rolled in and looked at the mess. "Oh, brother," he said. Just then, Stafford happened to look up. Huh? What's this? Well, what do you know? Splinter was right. Mason is the vicious Vicarstown villain. He's the only one who's been in this siding for the last couple of days, so he's the only one who could have been looking at this poster. I gotta warn the others. And Stafford hurried away. As he hurried down the line, though, he saw Mason up ahead. Not knowing what else to do, Stafford called out, "Hey, you," he said. Mason raced away and Stafford followed him. Further down the line, Sir Topham Hatt was talking to Splinter. "I don't know what I'm gonna do with all these damaged engines," he said. "Well, you gotta repair them," said Splinter, "or else we'll be more behind schedule if you get rid of them." Just then they heard a horn in the distance. "Mason's coming," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Quickly, Splinter, get out of the way." And Splinter hurried down the line. Mason raced onto the viaduct and hurried around the bend. He went too fast and he derailed and went off the edge of the track. "Oh no, the passengers," cried Splinter. But thankfully there were no passengers inside of Mason, just in the coaches. Splinter reversed onto the bridge just as Stafford rushed up. "Sir," said Stafford, "there's something you have to see at the diesel works." So Topham Hatt climbed aboard Stafford and they set off. Stafford rolled into the diesel works and so Topham Hatt stepped out. "So this is what you wanted me to see? Just a pile of smashed, broken up trucks. No, not that. That. This is the list of all the engines who have had accidents, and some that haven't been checked yet. So, what are you saying?" "I'm saying that Mason is behind all these accidents." This could be anybody's list of engines, like Diesel, Arier, Birder, someone like that. "Mason has been the only one sitting in this siding for the past 2 days, said Stafford. "I'm pretty sure he's responsible." All these engines that have been having accidents have been working in Vicarstown, and Mason was assigned to work here. When they returned to the viaduct, Harvey had arrived and was putting Mason back on the tracks. Sir Topham Hatt stepped out and reprimanded Mason severely. "I want you off the island now," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Yes, sir," said Mason, and he rolled away. "Well done, Stafford," said Splinter. "You stopped the vicious Vicarstown villain." As Mason left for the mainland, he passed by Sidney and his driver. "Where are you going, Mason?" asked Sidney. "I'm leaving," said Mason. "Stafford busted me. He's told Sir Topham Hatt that I was the one causing all the accidents at Vicarstown." "No, really?" said Sidney. "Yeah," said Mason. "So I'm being sent away." And if that's not enough, Sir Tom Hat isn't letting me take my coaches back with me. He's going to get them to some great northern engine named Ryan. And with that, Mason rolled away. Come on, Sydney, said his driver. We've got to get back to work. Later that day, Stafford was resting in his siding, feeling very proud of himself. Suddenly,